Up to $300,000
Yeah.
every single month.
Yeah.
That number, I mean, for a lot of people, that feels like the difference between a side project and, a real business empire.
It absolutely is. And the most critical insight we uncovered looking at these high earners is that the growth isn't really technical, it's psychological.
Psychological.
Users don't primarily pay for new features. They pay to remove pain, anxiety, or judgment.
Fear of being mocked when you're trying to speak a foreign language, like with that LangLearn app.
Exactly.
Or that intense anxiety of making a huge irreversible mistake when you're buying a used car. That's what's actually generating the revenue.
We're seeing these businesses succeed not because they have some revolutionary new AI, but because they target a deep emotional nerve.
Welcome back to The Deep Dive. Today, we are moving past theory and getting directly under the hood of these massive recurring revenue SaaS businesses, the ones generating hundreds of thousands of dollars monthly.
Right.
Our mission is to really understand their strategic blueprint.
And we're going to fully unpack the master framework they use to filter these million-dollar ideas from just the merely good ones.
Okay.
That includes the critical 5-point checklist, a deep analysis of the top earners, and then we'll share 4 brand new startup concepts for 2026 that follow this exact blueprint.
Okay, let's unpack this. Let's start with the heavy hitters. We need to understand the strategy that's driving this incredible scale. How are they succeeding by either bundling services or, more importantly, solving these really deep psychological issues for their users?
So the benchmark earner we looked at is Genora AI. They're hitting that $300,000 monthly mark. Their strategy isn't groundbreaking tech. It's brilliant execution against a very modern pain point: subscription fatigue.
Subscription fatigue. Oh, we all feel that, right?
Of course.
You're tired of paying separately for every streaming service. And the sources highlight that the AI world is exactly the same. Users are exhausted trying to juggle ChatGPT plus Claude Pro and Gemini Advanced all separately.
It's not just the money, it's the friction in your workflow. Genora just bundles the leading APIs, OpenAI, Anthropic, Google, into one single application. The value is in the orchestration. It manages your token usage. It routes the models. It makes sure you're always getting the best answer without even having to think about which model is best today.
So the technical sophistication isn't in creating a new model. It's in being the best router.
Yeah.
The best integrator of what's already out there.
Precisely. And this extreme convenience lets Genora achieve something absolutely critical: becoming the user's default habit.
The first place you go.
It's the single place they go first, every single time. That habit is sticky. That habit guarantees retention.
Okay, now let's pivot to a different success story. Logo Maker. They're doing around $200,000 a month. This solves a really urgent recurring problem for a constantly refreshing audience: new business owners.
If you launch a business, you need a logo now. You don't want to spend $500 or wait 2 weeks for a designer. Logo Maker delivers a professional, polished design in under 30 seconds for, a fraction of the cost.
They solved one thing, but they tapped into this massive ongoing search volume.
Yeah.
Speed is just everything to that customer.
It is.
And the technical detail here is surprisingly specific. It's not just, throwing a generic prompt at an image model. The secret is forcing the underlying models, like Day-A3, to draw in a very flat vector style.
Right, because if you just ask an image model for a logo, it gives you a painting, a detailed illustration. A business needs a vector design something flat, infinitely scalable for print and web.
So you have to be super specific.
Surgically specific. You have to say things like, design a minimalist coffee bean logo for morning brew, using dark roast brown, ensure it's a flat design, and absolutely no shading.
That focus on professional usability is the whole differentiator. But let's look at the emotional heavyweight, LangLearn, also hitting that $300,000 sweet spot. This is maybe the clearest example of solving a purely emotional problem.
The shame, the deep, visceral fear of being corrected or judged or even mocked by a native speaker, by a human tutor. This fear of losing face is what stops people from practicing. And without practice, you just don't learn.
And you contrast that with an AI tutor. It'll patiently correct you 100 times using voice-to-voice APIs, and there's absolutely zero social risk.
The psychological safety the product provides is its true engine. That safety encourages daily practice, which gets results, which keeps the subscription active. It's a perfect loop.
And we see this anxiety removal idea filtering down to smaller players too, like MenuFit, which is doing $60,000 a month.
Yeah.
It just removes the anxiety of dieting when you're at a restaurant. You scan the menu, and it instantly flags the safe choices. It's a recurring, low-effort tool.
And ZozoFit at $40,000 a month is brilliant. It replaces confusing numbers on a scale with addictive visual proof. You get a 3D scan of your body showing muscle growth and fat reduction. Visual progress is just a much more powerful emotional hook.
So, if the highest earners are all solving fear, anxiety, judgment, we need a way to filter our own ideas for that. How do we make sure our idea is actually hitting that kind of nerve?
We look for problems that trigger specific anxieties or deep-seated fears in an audience that has money to spend.
Okay, that brings us directly to the winning formula, the master framework. This is the 5-point checklist that separates a hobby app from a real empire. The idea is you shouldn't write a single line of code until your idea passes this filter.
Exactly. This checklist forces discipline. If you fail, say, 2 of these points, you need to shelve the idea and just move on.
So the first 2 points are all about market sustainability. Target groups that spend money and solve a repeating problem. Why are students, for example, a bad target, even if the problem's interesting?
It all comes down to lifetime value, or LTV. Students have high churn and, frankly, low disposable income. But if you target golfers, real estate agents, small business owners, these are professional groups.
Right.
They have high disposable income and a professional recurring need for your solution.
And that repeating problem part is just as vital. If you create an app for some tax form that only happens once a year, your revenue model is basically dead on arrival.
You need that weekly or daily habit. It has to feel like you're stacking Lego blocks of data, creating a recurring loop. We need that continuous usage to guarantee subscriptions.
Which brings us to checklist points 3 and 4. They introduce the magical input and the need for high stakes. So,
Manually entering data is a chore, but pointing your phone at a menu or a golf swing or a piece of skin and getting instant complex analysis.
you feel like magic.
It feels like magic. It reduces friction to almost zero.
And point 4, accuracy matters. You have to focus on high-stakes problems where an error has a real, tangible cost, financial or emotional.
Think about the used car analyzer again. If that AI is wrong, the user could lose thousands of dollars. They will happily pay $20 for the peace of mind that comes with accuracy in that kind of high-stakes transaction.
But if the stakes are low, like recommending a song, they're not going to pay for better accuracy.
Exactly.
And the final point, current solutions must be terrible. If the user has to manually Google for 20 minutes to get the same insight, your 5-second app wins instantly. But I have to admit, this filtering is tough. I still wrestle with separating good ideas from bad ones based on this complexity. It is so hard to be objective when you're excited about a concept.
It absolutely is. That self-skepticism is the key to strategic filtering. If Google already provides an accurate, easy answer, don't build an app for it.
So it sounds like avoiding those one-time problems is so critical because recurring revenue really requires recurring usage. That's what guarantees subscriptions.
That's the entire business model in a nutshell.
Let's shift our focus now to the core framework mindset. So beyond the 5 checklist items, successful founders seem to approach product design differently. It starts with finding what you call the nerve.
The nerve is the anchor.
Yeah.
Is the problem tied to their identity, like a cyclist who wants the best stats? Is there an urgency, a financial deal that has to happen right now, or high stakes avoiding a huge personal or professional mistake? You have to design around that emotional spike.
And once you find that nerve, you design around the one-button interface. The best interface, as the saying goes, is no interface at all.
Right.
Open the app, press one button, get the complex result. Why are users so quick to cancel if they have to tap, 10 times?
Friction kills subscriptions. Instantly. Every tap, every field you have to fill out, every extra step just adds cognitive load. Users hate unnecessary mental work. Simplicity is deceptively hard to achieve, but it is essential for massive scale.
That focus on efficiency is it's breathtaking when you really consider the numbers.
Whoa. Yeah, imagine scaling that single clean interface. Just one button to 1 billion queries a month. That efficiency, that lack of friction, is transformative when you hit hypergrowth.
And that efficiency helps you build what you call the recurring loop. You need a built-in intrinsic reason for the user to come back, daily or weekly. It's not enough to just offer a feature. You have to create a habit.
Whether it's that daily study reminder from LangLearn or the common weekly event of eating out and using MenuFit, habit creation is basically synonymous with subscription retention.
So what do you think is the most underestimated part of that whole one-button principle? It seems so simple on the surface.
Simplicity is deceptively hard to build, and users will instantly reject any unnecessary friction. Okay, so we promised some ideas. Let's look at 4 concepts for 2026 that strictly follow this master framework and, crucially, have not been done well yet.
I'm ready. Number 1, the AI golf coach. This hits, maybe the wealthiest, most skill-obsessed demographic in sports. The input is just a simple slow-motion video of your swing.
And the output is a precise, analysis-driven fix, not a generic tip. The AI says, your shoulder is 5 degrees too low on the backswing. Adjust your grip angle by 2 millimeters. Golfers are desperate for those marginal gains, and they have the money to pay a premium for that kind of accuracy. It targets high disposable income and a repeating habit perfectly.
Okay, idea number 2, the used car analyzer. We touched on this, but let's really reinforce the stakes here. This is all high-risk, high-stakes prevention. Input is the car photo and the VIN.
The output has to be comprehensive. A list of common failures for that exact model and year, estimated repair costs in the user's city, and the true market value. That intelligence is priceless. Users will absolutely pay $20 or even more to avoid getting suckered into a $2,000 scam.
It leverages photo input and targets the fear of financial loss. Perfect fit.
Perfect fit.
Number 3, this one solves daily decision fatigue, the closet stylist. This is a recurring emotional problem, that feeling of, I have nothing to wear. Input is just photos of all the clothes in your closet.
And the output is a daily, contextualized outfit suggestion. It's cold and raining today. You should pair the gray cashmere sweater with those black leather pants and the blue scarf. It solves a daily, low-stakes but very high-frequency decision, making the user feel stylish and efficient every morning.
I love that one. And finally, number 4, the AI pet doctor. This targets maybe the highest emotional stakes of all. People worry about their pets like they're their own children.
The input is just a photo of the pet's ear or its skin or a paw. The output is an early warning for issues like a fungus or an infection. It gives you instant peace of mind and flags when a costly vet visit is actually necessary. The emotional driver here, the fear of a pet suffering, that guarantees high retention and a high willingness to pay.
This has been a true deep dive into strategy. It's less about the technology itself and more about the psychological design of a really profitable business.
Right.
The opportunity, as we've seen, is wide open because AI has erased some of the toughest technical barriers to entry.
And the market is just hungry for simple, fast solutions that solve specific, high-stakes problems for very specific groups of people. The secret, the recurring theme through all of this, is solving that emotional nerve.
The fear of judgment, the fear of a costly mistake, or the fear of regret.
That's it.
So the decision isn't about building the next GPT. It's purely about strategy and filtering your idea based on human psychology. You don't need to be perfect from day one, but you have to solve one specific recurring problem exceptionally well for one specific group of people.
Who are willing to pay for that solution.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if the technical complexity is now mostly gone and the blueprint for hypergrowth demands an interface that is really just one button, maybe the biggest barrier left for building an empire is simply the founder's confidence to launch something that seems almost too simple to be a business.
Thank you for joining us for this deep dive.
We'll catch you on the next one.